So this is a, okay, you don't have to do it exactly this way, but this is one of ways that we helped set up innovation process in a company for a client. So this is a real case, consulting case, where we've been consulting a company. They wanted, it was a corporation, they wanted to set up this left part of the innovation process, and they said, hey, help us do this. And that's what we came up with, and we successfully run multiple business cases. Like, I think we run for that company over 50 different business cases. Out of those 50 cases, they have chosen, I don't remember, 4 or 5 to implement, and then they implement it. So this process goes, as you see, in the upper left corner. We start, let me use my pencil. So we start in the upper left, and you see here, there is an idea, and we create first shitty draft about the users and their problem that we think users have. So ideally, you want your product to help some people to solve some of their problems, right? Unless it's a game, and then we are talking entertainment. But entertainment is also, like, I mean, people want to be entertained. It's also a problem. So we are looking for users with problems, and we create the first shitty draft. It's just a one-page description of, hey, we think there is a problem for that type of customer segment. Let's talk some example. I don't know. Let's think that we are building Amazon when Amazon was not around. The guys were thinking, hey, there are a lot of bookstores, physical bookstores everywhere. Now we've got internet, and there might be people who don't want to go to bookstores, and they think that walking in bookstores is tiring and takes a lot of time. So those users, they want to shop online and save the time and find much broader book selection online. So they've got a problem. We have an idea about solution. Oh, no, sorry. They have a problem, and we think it's a problem, right? That's it. And we stop there. They don't have a solution yet. So they think they have a problem. They think they have users with the problem. And the next step, what's happening, so step number 2 is we need to go and do some interviews. We actually send people out, and they start talking to people, asking those people about, hey guys, do you have actually problems with, like, how do you buy your books? Tell us, right? And then the client said, oh yeah, I'm going to the physical store. Hey, how do you like it? And he says, oh, I hate it. Like, every time I have to drive 5 exits, my nearest bookstore is 5 exits down. And I come, and there's always a lot of people, and it smells funny in that store. So if people start explaining how they have it, and if we see that there are problems there, we will take this as feedback with us, and we will go to step number 3, where we come to our office and we start mapping today's solution. So we ask people, hey, dude, how do you actually buy books? Tell us. And they tell us. So we come back to the office and we map. Okay, they are doing it this way. Based on 10 interviews, people are doing this. So now we are ready to step 4, where we try to come up with different alternative solutions to those problems and to those kind of, like, people just explain to us how painful a book buying experience can be, right? So we want to help them, and we are starting to coming up, hey guys, maybe a digital thing could be a solution, right? Or maybe a personal shopper would be a solution. You tell me which book you want, I am running to the physical store and I am bringing it back to you. So here you see different alternatives to all those today's solution. And step number 5, we go out again, we meet those people that we interviewed in the previous round, coming to them now saying, dude, we listened to your story about all those problems you had visiting all those stores. We have a solution to discuss with you. What if, and then they give this new approach, like, what if we give you a personal shopper which goes to the store, buys everything you need and comes back? And the guy says, no, I don't like it. And I say, okay, what if we give you a internet page where you go and you browse yourself, and we send it by email, or sorry, by mail to you, those books. And the client says, that sounds nice. So here we found something. So from here, we go to step 6, which is they will create a list of riskiest assumptions. So different risks, different assumptions they have made, which might not be true. And if those assumptions are not true, they can kill this startup, or they can kill this idea. So they create this list, and they go again to step number 7, is now talking to clients about validation. Like they want those assumptions checked with real clients or potential clients, that, hey, what about this? What about that? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if the books are missing? When we send it to you, somebody steals those books from your door. So they talk about all those things that can torpedo the whole idea. And this is step number 7. If they feel still comfortable, so on every stage of this thing, everything can collapse. Essentially, you can prove that your idea is dumb and doesn't work. And that's the whole point of the whole exercise. We want to create a lot of work. We need to do a lot of work in order to figure out whether this idea will fly or not fly. And then that's what we are doing here. So step number 8 is creating an elevator pitch. So essentially, we say that, okay, who is potential? Like we aggregate all previous steps into one sentence or a couple of paragraphs, which in 30 seconds explain the idea to a potential investor. So we do this here. We have an hour elevator pitch. Now, actually, from here, you start. If you go to the next step, where we play some future, like we are trying to guess the future. We are trying to play some. I don't know, you take this elevator pitch, you start walking and talking to people, right? Talking to all people outside there, trying to figure out like how life could be if you start building something like this. You, by doing this, by going and talking to a lot of people, you start identifying stakeholders. So here we do the stakeholder analysis. This is step 10. Start identify, I don't know, maybe it's a regulated space. You need to talk to the regulator. If I'm building a product in financial, I need to figure out who's going to be kind of, I don't know, is there a license needed? Are they the same license in each state, or are they different? What about different countries? Blah, blah, blah. So different stakeholders who you might want to consult or figure out if they can kind of prevent you from doing what you want. You build a portrait of an ideal client as step number 11. So of all those different users, you can segment them better usually. So usually we can do segmentation. So we find a few segments, but then we find one ideal client that we think, okay, if we can only land kind of these guys, we can already start testing something. Next step, you are building a business model. So this part, step number 12. Business model is, okay, do I have a user who have a problem and who like my solution, and I know how to sell to them? So here you see this piece with sales channels, and you need to figure out how much it's going to cost. Like we do typically at this step, at step 12, we are trying to do a description of your product, which is non-existent yet. Create a web page describing your non-existent product. Buy some Google ads or Instagram ads or some Facebook ads where we try to sell non-existent product, and we usually want to see the traffic. Like we put some ads on the Google, people click on it, they come to the landing page, they read the landing page, and on the landing page we say buy. If they click this buy button, we register it. But of course we don't have a product. So after people click on the buy button, we tell them, sorry, we don't have a real product. We're just measuring the interest. So if you don't mind, leave us your email address. We can get back to you if we decide to build this product. But for now, the product doesn't exist. So with all this, we kind of Step 13 is decide on the value proposition. So this is what we're gonna offer. We have an idea now. Who is the ideal client and what is the killer offer that we want to do. From here, we do a list of adoption strategies. So for 14 is how will I roll this thing out, like to a larger audience? What's going to be my steps on adoption? Like go-to-market strategy, right? How will I actually start with whom? From here, we start thinking about actually doing the product. If it's a software thing, step 15, we will do something we call a mile-wide story mapping. So here we start mapping out the functionality of a real software. So only at step 15, if we survived up till now, only here do we start thinking about, okay, in this software, what kind of functionality, what kind of features this software gonna have. Step 16, we put some metrics. How do we know we are successful? How will we measure the impact of that thing? What kind of business problem? Like how do we need to organize the whole thing? Step 17 is aligning user goals with business goals and trying to figure out what the user wants versus what we want and how to match it. Like, will they actually, what should be the pricing strategy, decide on the whether you want to do subscription or you want to, I don't know, there's so many monetization strategies there. And step 18 is release strategy. So, okay, let's figure out what is the minimum viable product. Like, how little can I do in order to prove that, okay, I have something in my hands that my customers are willing to buy. And this leads us to this last step 19, where we say, okay, let's build this minimum viable solution. So MVS, or a minimum viable product, MVP. So let's build this little thing. And from here, they can throw this thing into like over the wall into the run thing. Does it make sense, Lance, the whole process?